Welcome to the Astro Cosmic Hour with Michelle Chiquan. Today I have the pleasure to be with Sirena. Sirena is a claircognizant and third-generation psychic reader. Welcome, Sirena.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So explain your gift, your talent. I know it comes from generation, but how do you, because there's a lot of difference of clairvoyant, we have 7.
There's many Claires.
There's many Claire. And so yours is the hardest one for me to pronounce, being French. So please pronounce it properly for me and explain what it is.
I'm a claircognizant.
I see.
And it means that I just know stuff. And it's not like I'm thinking. I just have things come up. It just comes to me what the truth is. And I believe it's from past lives. Many lifetimes of just having many lives. You just know stuff.
Yeah.
But it's also, I think it's also old soul kind of stuff. Been around the universe.
Do you believe that people sometimes, when we know things, that people don't really believe it because they don't feel you have a tool in front of you? So you need to have a tool, some type of tool. Some people will say, oh, I need my crystals. I'll need this. I need my tarot card. Or they really go with their own faith and just like, okay, she really does know.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think the way most readings start, the universe gives you information and then you first blow people's minds. And I'm sure this is how most readings start. First, you blow their mind and they're like, oh my God, she's for real. And then we can just go past the secretary, as my friend would say, Riz. Go past the secretary and go right to the manager.
Okay.
So we don't have to get screened anymore. Mm-hmm. So I do use tarot cards. I love tarot cards because that way I can tell people, look, it came right up here. You can see for yourself. So I can hide behind my tarot cards. I don't have to say, oh, this is just coming to me. And that I could see how that would be hard if I was not using tools. But the wonderful thing about tools is you can say, look, this is what this means when this is like this. And you explain it to people and they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it makes sense. Because I think as a human being, sometimes we tend to want to see something to believe, right?
Absolutely.
We need those tools. We need something to say, oh, she sees something.
Yeah. And I'm perfectly happy explaining everything that I see in a reading come down, to analyzing the cards or the astrology. I just say, look, this is what this means because blah, blah, blah. And then, a person who knows nothing about tarot or astrology, I can explain it to them.
That's correct. So
yeah.
Did you start your gift at a very young age? Did you get this very young age to say, oh, I know this girl in school, not a good news for me, or this boy, not a good news, stay away. Is it the type of knowing that you know, or?
So for most of us who are sensitive, we all have a different journey, but there are many of us who are super sensitive who were living under circumstances that would maybe cause us to be hyper vigilant. And so that is what happened to me.
Okay.
My father, I love my father. He's the most awesome artist, to me that's ever lived. But he was also an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And so he would come in late at night and my parents would yell and dishes would be thrown and all kinds of things would hit the wall and it was very dramatic growing up.
Okay.
And when you are a child, you grow up with with drama, it causes you to be hyper vigilant. Mm-hmm. So when I tiptoed down to the kitchen to see what the heck was happening, and I see both my parents, with my mom had a knife to my father, I get a little hyper vigilant.
Yeah, trust issue.
So we have definitely trust issues.
Yeah.
So, that's what causes to be extra sensitive, is because it's a way of protecting yourself.
Yeah, it's true. We
if you think that you have to be there to fight off somebody, or maybe I know that, okay, so my parents love each other supposedly, and she takes a knife to him. What the heck? Yeah. Well, she said that she loved me too. Should I be concerned? Evidently, I should be concerned.
Correct. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, of course.
So it's going to make you hypervigilant.
Yeah, and mostly as growing up as a child, if we had any trauma of any time, I noticed more and more of psychic, they actually tune their trauma into something else. It's an escape. And to be more in tune with your sensibility, to feel things, to understand things. I find that people that goes through trauma develop almost like another sense, or it's already there. We all have a sense.
Yeah.
But I think it's dormant, and for people who live a happy life, they don't need it. They don't have it. It's like,
you haven't had to call for it.
Exactly. So you don't have to meditate or just like, try to focus on something.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes I believe in psychic, even myself as a neurologist, I had trauma as a child. So I was able to back up and make friends, almost like, the invisible friend, but I talk to people who are past. So for me, it was much easier. But as a young kid, I tried to block it. That's scary or spooky or something.
Yeah.
Right? So you kind of block it.
I think that's what happens to most of us. We block it.
Yeah, we block it as very young age.
It becomes kind of irritating. I was picking up on earthquakes all around the world. So how the heck was I supposed to sleep?
Yeah. So
it was like, just go to sleep, okay? Yeah. And then I just told the universe, please. I mean, I feel sorry for all these people, but I need to go to sleep. There comes a point where it can become too much information.
So what do you say with your gift when you kind of warn somebody, just like, just be careful with this, and they don't, and it does happen?
Yes.
Right? So that's what happened a lot of times. So when you're close friends, I guess they do listen to you. They say, please don't go there today.
Right?
Or don't drive today. Stay home. Please. Because you know better.
Yeah, you just have, I've seen it in dreams. I've seen things happen. Yeah, you're like, no, just don't.
Just don't do it. And just believe. And sometimes it's hard for people.
It is.
Until they know you almost many times, they see you a few times, they say, oh, she was right. Yeah. I go to Sirena, and she'll tell me because she knows. Not because she's a know-it-all, like you mentioned earlier.
Exactly.
But you just feel it. You just know.
Yeah,
it's just know.
We just know stuff.
Exactly.
Or people ask us about, the deep questions to ask in life, and we just know.
Yeah, and it's good.
Sure,
and it's
I'll
good
tell
or bad. Yeah, but be prepared to receive the good and the bad.
Of course.
You have to be open. If you want to ask a question,
be careful what you ask.
Yeah, because you might
We're going to tell you the answer.
Exactly. So when you claircognitive, that's what happened. It's like it's the art of knowing.
Yeah.
And it's it could be as much scary to people or not. They just like, but just tell me the good things, right? Just like, but you can't really choose that.
So we have had many lives of conquering fear.
Yeah.
So we're not fearful of any more of the information.
That's correct. Yeah.
And that takes a lot, because that's the number one thing that we're here to overcome on this planet is fear.
Yeah.
But most people are fearful.
To go back to your tarot, how many decks do you have? And how long did it took you to choose the right decks for you? It's like, what speaks to you? What is it? A color? What speaks to you when you choose a deck for you? Because you probably went for a lot of decks.
I actually went right for my deck.
Just one.
Which is fabulous. I mean, I went through one and I thought, oh gosh, it's terrible to read. It was all blue, and I don't want to name the author, but they all look the same. And that's very hard in a spread. If they're color coded at least, it's much easier to read. So all the earth cards are green. All the water cards are blue. All the air cards are yellow. All the fire cards are red. Yeah. How easy is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Simplicity.
I know. The more simplistic it can be, it's much easier to read, because what we're doing when we're reading is we're not thinking. So if I can have a deck that is cinchy to read, where I don't have to think, because thinking puts you in the wrong place. I'm not thinking, I'm intuiting.
Correct.
I'm feeling, I'm not thinking. In fact, I'm listening to my feeling, not my thinking. So if I have a cinchy deck, then I can roll with it. But if I have to sit there and think about it, it's putting my attention in the wrong place.
That's a very good advice for listeners to actually learn tarot.
Absolutely.
Because we tend to think too much, or analyze them too much, or learn them too much by the book.
Yes.
And it's okay to learn, to see what they kind of say in general, but the person who wrote it was in his own intuition as well. True. About the card.
True.
So as a tarot reader, or people that do tarot, it's very important what you said. It's a very important lesson, is to use more your intuition over the logic things that the card's supposed to say.
Right. And absolutely. Definitely.
Don't think or overthink. Yeah.
Exactly. Because you're going to probably receive information that's not even in the book.
Yeah.
And that's happened to me many times. You're like, oh, well, there's a new way of looking at that card. To any seasoned tarot card reader, we're going to go, wow, we've had those moments where you're like, oh, that was a new and interesting way to look at that card. I'll add that to my toolbox and pull it out when it comes again. But, yeah, it's cool that way. So, long time ago, when I was a little teenager, I was like 12, and we were in this really cool shop, my family, my mom and my sisters, and we were in this really eclectic little shop, and I saw these beautiful greeting cards, and I thought, oh, these are the most beautiful greeting cards I think I've ever seen. And I asked my mom if I could have one or two, and she let me have two. So I taped them over my dresser. Several years later, when I was in the tarot shop in Mystic Journey in Los Angeles on Abbot Kinney, I was looking for my first tarot card deck. And it wasn't that one, but later on I came across the one I love, and it was the same exact illustrator as the woman who made my
those greeting cards.
Those greeting cards, thank you. So I looked at it and I go, this looks so familiar. And sure enough, it was the same woman. And I unfortunately can't remember her name at the moment, but it is Crystal Reflections. And a lot of readers use this deck because it's super intuitive.
Yep.
Very cinchy illustrations, very beautiful. And to me, it's very, very important to have a deck. And this is just my own personal, I know there's other people who like doing other things, but for my personal deck, because it's very personal.
Correct.
I don't think decks should be scary.
Yeah.
If it's scary, this kind kind of work is already scary to people. They're really freaked out. Oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, it's too scary. I get that all the time.
They see the tower.
All
or
the
they
time.
see...
Oh, they are freaked out by the whole thing. But if I, on top of it, have really spooky and really scary decks, how is that helping people? Is it making them go further into fear? Definitely. Yeah. That's not where I dwell. I do not dwell in fear. I dwell in truth and love.
And positivity.
Yes, truth, love, positivity, anything that can go under the heading of truth and love, that's where I live.
Yeah. Talking of a place to live, you were from California before.
Yes.
And now you're in Hawaii.
I love Hawaii.
So how's the energy differ from California? Because I truly believe that this is so spiritual here.
It's incredibly spiritual.
It's just this values of money and objects, and it takes up the door.
Really
it's just
does.
like if you live every day for what it is, and you breathe. You actually breathe. You breathe, and that's a big thing. So how do you feel about Hawaii?
It's funny that you say that, because you know how you just said I breathe.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking at the same time as you're saying that it's all about love. And I'm going to go back to that same heading. It's truth and love. When you hear the truth, your first natural reaction, literally, physically, is to take a big breath in.
And we don't do
when
that
you
enough.
hear the truth.
Yep.
It's like, oh, I can breathe again. So that's how Hawaii is to me. I can breathe. It's my truth. It's beauty. It's all around me. It's not so difficult.
Yeah.
In LA, it was very hard. I had to literally force myself to find the beauty and breathe it in. It was so hard. And in certain places where there's so much concrete jungle, you know, the only place to look and find some beauty was if I were to look up at the sky and just breathe that in. And I go, oh, there's somewhere to find truth and love.
Mm-hmm.
But here we're surrounded. I mean, we live in Honolulu, but it's not perfect. But there's way more truth and beauty to breathe in. So,
do you find with this energy here, it's easier to express your talent, your gift? Like it's easier for you because then it just comes without like worry of what others thinks, or because of the fast pace, let's say, of LA was very, very fast. Now you come here, it's very chill.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to really analyze the minutia, yes, it's easier. But I did fine in LA. My training ground was Venice Boardwalk.
Okay, of course.
And any reader who is going to learn on Venice Boardwalk, you are going to need to turn off complete chaos all around you. And I'm fine with that. Because I grew up doing that.
Yeah.
You just turn it off. You go into your happy pink bubble and you're like, okay, well, y'all are crazy, but here in my pink bubble, I'm fine.
Yeah, it's true. It's like like you say, the pink bubble. So because I could do numerology in New York or Montreal or in Vancouver, Toronto, and like you totally mentioned, it is so important to delete the chaos around us.
Exactly.
Like to really delete it and just focus you with somebody now in front of you, and it's just the two of you, and just, you know what, it will come naturally.
Right.
And it doesn't matter where we are technically in the world, but I just find it's like every time I'm in Hawaii, there's no chaos.
Exactly.
That's the thing. Exactly. That's the beauty of it. I don't have to eliminate.
There's a little bit.
Of
There's
course.
homeless people that come walking along, but it's so much easier to turn it, because there's so much more at home.
Yeah.
Because if you're sensitive to nature and beauty, as I am, I'm an artist.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up with two parents who were artists. It's all in the 12th house in astrology. It's becoming more sensitive to beauty and love and truth.
So can I ask what people could expect when they have a reading with you, when they'll meet you on Zoom or in person? What's not just the expectation, but what's the experience? Because it's more of an experience. We all offer an experience, not just expectation. I shouldn't say the word expectation. I should say it's an experience. It's a healing experience for everyone. It's searching a positivity, answers, and so forth. So it's really an experience.
Yeah.
So what if people, when they'll contact with you, what, like for me personally, when I met you with my partner, Damien, I was like, oh my God, she's crazy. She's wild. I love her. I'm like, she's all the energy. She's bubbly. I'm just like, she has an amazing laugh. She's this red hair. It's like, oh my God. It's just like, and everything she says is so real and true. And I'm just like, my partner was so blown away that he actually said, I want to do tarot card, because Sirena told me, she said, I have a talent to do it. I said, well, I've been telling you that, but but you really confirm in him that he does have it, the talent, and he's doing it now.
That's awesome.
And he said, no, Sirena, he was blown away by you.
Nice.
And that's all he talks about. It's like, but Sirena, it's like, she's, remember, she's like, oh my God. It's like, it's just so cute that way. But yeah, so what's the experience? I know that was my experience with you. It was just like, wow. It was just like, we could sit here for hours. But yeah.
Yeah, I like it to be super duper comfortable. And that's just the way I like to be myself. I want to be super comfortable, and I always want to have fun. And so I just am me. I just do me. I like to be transparent, and wherever my wild mind takes me, we go there. Wherever the message is, we go there. I just don't hold back. I just pull it all out. If I see something, I'm going to say it. And it ends up being really fun.
That's great.
We just have a good time with it. And it should be a fun experience.
Yeah.
Totally. And yeah, I get that 100% of the time. It's always going to blow your mind.
Because I've seen
and that's a good thing. We're here to get our minds blown. We're here to lose our mind.
Because I've seen you like in small and big events where you do tarot cards, like a 10-minute reading, 15 minutes reading. And people are so amazed by you. They say, how can we have it longer? When can we book with you longer? Just 10 minutes is too fast. It just doesn't work for me. It's just like, no, I have way too many questions, and you able to answer them. So I know even with the tarot cards, it's like, their face is just like eliminated, and it's just like, oh my God, that's it, just 10 minutes, and they're afraid of the time, so they're focusing so much on the time, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so fast, and it's like, they're worried, right? And because they're so excited to be with you, and I've seen them in action with you, so your experience is incredible, what you have to offer to people. So thank you, Sirena, for this interview. And if you want to reach Sirena, you could do so at indigoalliancehawaii.com. They do have as well Indigo Alliance Hawaii on Instagram, and as well on TikTok, and as well on Facebook. So thank you again, Sirena, for joining me today on the Astro Cosmic Hour. So we'll see you soon. Mahalo. Thank you.
Mahalo.